Today, we're diving into a really crucial choice for any professional in Romania. Do you go for the stability of a traditional job, or do you embrace the freedom of the freelance life?
So, you're looking at working in Romania, but you find yourself at this crossroads. Which way do you go? What's the right path for you, not just legally, but financially? And believe me, it's a much bigger question than it seems on the surface.
And this isn't just some passing trend. We're talking about a fundamental shift in the entire job market. All this flexibility is amazing, but it also means it's absolutely critical that you understand your options inside and out before you take the leap.
Okay, let's get right into it. To really get a handle on this, we have to start with the single most important legal distinction. Honestly, this one idea is the foundation for everything else we're about to talk about.
So first up, you've got what the law calls dependent activity. This is the classic employment contract. Think structure, think control. You report to a manager, you have set hours, you work from a specific place, and the company gives you the laptop and tools you need. It's the traditional 9-to-5 setup.
And then you've got the flip side, independent activity. This is the very heart and soul of being a freelancer. It's all about autonomy and flexibility. You call the shots, you set your hours. But, and this is a big but, you also carry all the risk.
So, how does this legal difference actually feel in the real world? Well, it all boils down to what is basically a great trade-off. We're going to compare these two paths across the three things that matter most to all of us: your money, your security, and your freedom.
When you zoom out and look at the big picture, the choice really comes down to this simple question. Are you looking for the security and the clear structure that comes with being an employee? Or are you chasing the flexibility and potential rewards that, come with taking on a bit more risk as a freelancer?
Okay, now this is where things get really interesting: the money. At first glance, you see that 10% flat tax rate, and you might think, hey, it's the same for both. But the reality is completely different. As an employee, all your social contributions are handled for you. As a freelancer, that's all on you. The upside, you get way more flexibility to deduct your business expenses.
And this right here, this just perfectly illustrates that huge shift in risk. As a freelancer, you're not just buying your own laptop, you're on the hook personally for financial and legal missteps. In a traditional job, pretty much all of that risk is carried by the company.
This brings us to something huge: the employee safety net. If you're an employee in Romania, you are automatically plugged into this strong social framework. We're talking health insurance, pension payments, paid vacation, paid sick leave. It's all managed for you. It's part of the deal.
For freelancers, though, it's a completely different story. You have to build your own safety net from scratch. It's a total do-it-yourself project. You have to handle all the paperwork, and you shoulder the entire financial burden of making sure you have these essential protections in place.
Okay, here's another point you can't overlook: intellectual property. This is a big one. As an employee, that amazing code you write, that brilliant design you create, by default, it belongs to your employer. But as a freelancer, you generally own your original work, unless you specifically sign those rights away in a contract. All right, so let's say the autonomy and the ownership of the freelance path is calling your name. How do you actually practically get started? Let's quickly run through the two most common ways people set up their business in Romania.
The first, and honestly the most popular option, is the PFA. That translates to an individual authorized person. You can just think of it as the simplest, most direct way for a solo entrepreneur to get up and running legally.
Think of the PFA as Freelancing 101. It's literally designed to be super easy and cheap to set up, which makes it the perfect starting point if you're just dipping your toes into the freelance world or if you're focused on smaller scale projects.
Now, for those of you with bigger plans, or if you just want more protection, there's option 2, the SRL, which is a limited liability company. This route is a bit more formal, but it offers way more legal protection, and it's built to grow with you.
And here's the absolute game changer. With an SRL, it creates a legal wall between you personally and your business. It separates your personal assets, your house, your car, from your business debts. That becomes incredibly important as you start to grow and take on bigger, potentially riskier projects.
So, we've gone through the legal stuff, we've talked about the money, we've looked at the practical steps. But after all the facts and figures are laid out, this decision really comes back to something much more personal. It comes down to you. Look, here's the bottom line. There's no single better option here. There just isn't. There's only the path that lines up best with your own goals, with your comfort level for risk, and with the kind of life you're trying to build. You're always making a trade: security for freedom or freedom for security.
And really, that's what this is all about. Arming yourself with this kind of knowledge isn't just a smart move. It is the first and most powerful step you can take in consciously designing your own professional life here in Romania.
Because in the end, the choice between the safety of a harbor and the freedom of the open sea is a deeply personal one. So it really just leaves us with one last question for you to think about on your own journey. How are you going to define yours?